Hello, guys. Welcome to the Delivery Room podcast.
The mic is on.
The room is sacred.
Let's
talk. Oh my God, I can't believe we're actually doing this. Wow.
Right, it's been a long time coming. It has been in the works for a while now.
We really have.
You know what they say, God's timing
is the best. So what are we about?
We are going to tell you guys a little about ourselves, how we got here, why we're doing this, and everything in between. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna ask Claudia, how did you get into midwifery?
Oh gosh. Do you really want to get into this story?
Let's get into it. The nitty-gritty.
Oh my gosh. Right. Let's get into it, guys, because my story is long. So, hey, grab your teas, grab your coffees, grab
even
your cocktail, grab
your buzz ball.
Grab whatever drink, because this story is long. Right. So, growing up, I feel like I always done well academically. I think I always done well academically. I have two very ambitious parents. Like everyone that knows me and knows my parents know they're very two ambitious people. So failure in the academic area was like
not an option.
Yeah, not an option. I feel like African households in general, it's never an option.
It's not even on the table.
In my household, it was never an option. From when I was in about secondary school, my mum literally started me tutoring from when I was in year 7 in maths, English and science.
Oh, wow.
All the way up until I was in year 11, obviously done my GCSEs. So from year 7 to 11, I did pretty well. I got good GCSE grades and boom, it was then time to go to college. Right. So when it came to sixth form, I never actually knew what I wanted to do. So midwifery crossed my mind in secondary school. I remember it actually did cross my mind in secondary school, but I thought of it, and then I always thought it's too hard. Like I'd never be able to do something like that. When you're midwifery, like I feel like everyone knows it as you deliver babies.
Babies,
like,
yeah.
No one
knows
the
nitty
gritty of actually being
guys.
a midwife.
It's a lot more than just delivering a baby.
Right. That's all I thought. So I thought midwife, delivering a baby. Nah, I won't be able to do that. Back in my mind straight away. So got into college and it was time to like pick what I wanted to study. So because I didn't know what to do, what I wanted to do as a career, I don't think it helped like when
navigate
it came to actually picking. So I thought the best idea was to pick what I did well in my GCSEs. Well, I did well in maths, but that is something I did not want to carry with me.
Mathematics.
So I decided to carry sociology, philosophy, because I did really good in religious studies, and then what was the last one? History. Yes.
Wait.
Yes, I was really good at history. You know?
Those are hefty subjects.
I was really good at history. Like I really, really was. Shockingly,
damn.
I was really good at history. Anyways, so forward to the end of the year, I hated philosophy actually. Like I really, really hated it. But fast forward to the end.
What
of
do
the
you even
first
learn in
year,
philosophy?
Honestly, it's about like all the gods.
There's
Anyway,
only one God. There's only one God.
So you know what I mean? Like all them gods and all of that. Listen, I can't lie to you. I wouldn't even be able to tell you because I hated that subject.
Fair enough.
Literally everything in me. So I then decided to drop philosophy. And my college basically said that I couldn't. So when it came to the end, do you know what? Yeah, sorry. This is the first time me telling this story. And I feel like I have to tell a lot of my failures, which is very difficult for me.
Listen, we don't.
But I feel like I had to go through all of that to be where I am. Anyway, so it came to my philosophy exam and I failed. I failed my philosophy exam, and they basically said to me that I wasn't allowed to go into my second year without retaking that exam. I really didn't want to retake the exam because I hated it and I knew I was gonna fail. Like nothing was gonna convince me.
Yeah.
Everyone tried to convince me to retake this exam. Like my mom tried to convince, but I just hated it and I knew I did not want to do it. During this year as well, my parents were in the midst of buying the house that I live in now, which is outside London, very far from where I went to college. Where I went to sixth form, which was connected to my secondary school. So I literally said to my mum, look, we're moving house anyway. We're moving outside London. Let's just take this opportunity for me to just basically start again, find a new college, near the new house, start again. So she said, you know what, fine. So that was 2 years of my life gone. So I just started again, came to college.
Were you scared to start again?
Do you know what? I definitely was, but no, I wouldn't say scared. I describe it as more embarrassed because I felt like all my age mates were moving forward and I was
you were
going back and starting again.
Fair enough.
And I wasn't used to that because remember, academically in secondary school, I've
yeah.
always done well.
Yeah.
I was always in the top set, like, you know, I don't want to sound big
Set
headed,
one.
but I was always, you know, in
Yeah.
the top sets. So for me to fail one and to actually have to be technically left behind and back a year was very embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So I would say more embarrassed than scared.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't really know what I was expecting out of this college. But when I moved to the area that I live in now, it was a predominantly white area. So when I started the college, I was actually the only black girl in my class. Yeah. So already I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I was already uncomfortable when I started that college. When I started that college, I then started to think about what I actually wanted to do. So I always knew I wanted to work like in the hospital. And at first I was trying to go down the route of being a like pediatric nurse. But then when I actually researched what a pediatric nurse did, I was like, boring.
Not for me.
No offense to the pediatric nurses out there because you guys really be taking the heat
No,
off us
honestly.
sometimes, you really do. But honestly, it just didn't resonate with me. Anyway, I think I got so overwhelmed by thinking about what I wanted to do. I just said, okay, cool, I'll just be a nurse. Because I just thought like nurse is just a general.
It's very broad.
Helping. It's very broad.
Yeah. When
So
in doubt, become a nurse.
I wasn't passionate about being a nurse at all. I was
Yeah.
just like, it's just something I can
yeah.
do. And I also had a lot of nurses around me. I have cousins that are nurses. You know, a few of my cousins are nurses. My mum was training to be a nurse. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, come on, might as
And
well just
also,
follow.
I feel like in an African household, being a nurse is highly spoken of. Because just to resonate with you, my dad wanted me to be a nurse. Nurse. He said every fact there is to know about a nurse, he was saying it. He was like, do it. So I feel like, it's always kind of put into the back of your mind as just being an African girl. Why not be a nurse?
Be a nurse.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, cool, that's the route I'm going to go down. Anyway, so I started and I thought, cool, since I'm going down the nursery route, there's no point in me stressing myself and picking up A-levels again. So I was like, let me go down the health and social care route. So I went down the health and social care route and I think this was about 2019, I want to say, yes. So 2018 to 2019 is when I started the health and social care. And I hated it. I hated the environment so much. I hated being the only black girl. Like, I'll be so honest.
I can't even imagine.
Like, there was no one I could relate to. So already it was a drag even going to college. So because I hated my environment and I wasn't passionate about the career that I'd supposedly chosen for myself, it just led to me feeling tired, not bothered, don't want to go. So what did I do? I started missing college. My mom used to go to work, by the way. My mom used to go to work in the morning and she'd come back in the evening. So she would have never known
that whether you were in college.
Same with my dad.
Not.
He used to come back not as late as my mom, but after the time I would be home from college. So they never knew. Sorry, Mom. Well, they actually know now. So not sorry. They actually know what it is. Forgive. I would literally just not go sometimes. I'd literally just not go in. And then one time, a letter came through the door about my attendance. And my mom caught it before me. I don't know if it's just my household, but my mom loves opening my letters.
Yes.
Like,
that needs to be studied because
I don't know.
What is it with African parents and feeling entitled to your letters?
I don't know.
They must see it before you do.
So anyway, she opened it and obviously saw it. Hey, she tore into me.
Right.
Like, my mom tore into me. And I think it was also coming from a sense of frustration from her because she was like, you told me that you wanted to start again and go to this college. So why are you now not going? It's not making any sense. And I didn't have it in me to explain to my parents that I just wasn't passionate about being a nurse because I had no other thing in my mind.
Yeah.
But as I look at it now, I feel like it was a disguise. Like, God was never going to make me comfortable in something that wasn't in my purpose, like wasn't for me.
Not in your path.
I didn't understand it then, but I look at it now and you know, I understand it now. So I never felt bothered. Anyway, my mum literally then would start calling me to literally make sure that I was in college. Yeah. And she also, my dad gave my tutor his email and said to email him if I don't go to college.
Yeah,
Right.
they were
so
on job.
After that, I had no choice. Anyway, so I would go, but I still wasn't focused, didn't care, had no interest in doing my assignments, nothing like that. And then 2019 came, which was coming towards, I'd say like the middle of the final year of college to the end. And I felt like I started going through a lot, like mentally, like this was it started to take a toll on me mentally, like just doing what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I think I also, at that same time, went through a horrible friendship breakup. At the time I was in a relationship, and I feel like I idolized the relationship, didn't really have my own brain sort of thing.
As you do when you're
honestly,
young,
when you're young
and you're
and
especially
in love,
your first like proper relationship, we all lose ourselves a little bit.
So I feel like that's what was happening to me at the time, and it just took a toll on me mentally. I'd go as far as saying I was genuinely depressed. Like I hated my life. Like genuinely,
girl.
Like I say it, but honestly, the fact that I can speak about it and be okay is a testament for how far I've come.
Well
like there was days I'd go to bed and be like, I don't care if I don't wake up, because honestly I don't care about life. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I'm not laughing, but honestly, because I just wasn't like, I didn't know what I was doing in life. Like I didn't know where I wanted to go. I felt so lost. I felt like everything was crashing down around me, and it was showing in obviously my performance at the college. Anyway, so it came to the end of the year, and obviously because I wasn't completing my assignments on time, I did not collect enough units to basically then become a nurse. So it was like another year failed again. My mum, do you know what? This time round, I wouldn't even say she was livid. I think she was fed up at that point. Like my mum was so fed up. Like, but I didn't know how I was gonna explain to her how I was feeling. And you know, it's very like, mental health is such a taboo subject in an African household, and it's like, I don't know how to tell you I'm depressed. I don't know how to tell you that I just feel lifeless.
And
like,
I guess also that fear of letting them down. You feel like, oh,
it was just, I didn't know. Like my mom, bless her, she tried to get my cousins to speak to me. She tried to get people that she thought I'd
would
open
relate
up to
and
relate to speak to me, but nothing was working. Like, I'll be honest, nothing was working. And I just fell into a really deep hole. And then I fell into a really deep hole. And then one day, so after I fell into this deep hole, so a couple of months after, I started working. So when I was in college, I worked at Tesco. I also worked in the Coral betting shop.
Okay.
And then at this point, I then got a new job in Co-op. So I was working in Co-op now at this point. So this is the end of 2019. I'm working in Co-op now, and I'm starting to think, okay, cool. Like I'm like, I can't work in
here
Co-op
forever
for the rest of my life. I need to actually start thinking about what I want to do. Because at that point, I feel like my mum had washed her hands. She was just like, do you know what? Since you're not going to listen to me, do whatever you want to do, but just know there's a time limit.
What did they say?
Like,
if you don't listen, you will feel.
Do you know what's so funny? I felt like every day I was waking up, there was going to be a day where my mum was just going to hand me my bags and be like, outside you go, bye, because you don't want to do nothing, so you can leave. I felt like every day I was waking up, it was like a time, like a ticking bomb. And it was even like going out, like I wouldn't even bother, because like my mum would just side eye me like, so you want to be going out, but you don't want to be serious about your life and things like that. And I also lived very far from my friends, wasn't driving, so even going out was difficult for me. So I just wasn't getting no distractions, nothing. I was just alone with my thoughts every day, just going to Co-op, coming home. Anyway, so there came a day where I was like, okay, do you know what? I actually need to start thinking about what I want to do. I kid you not, I was on Snapchat. This is when Snapchat started getting ads. You know, the ads in between Snap. This is when Snapchat started getting ads, advertisements. So I then was on Snap. I was watching Snap, and then next Snap went, and then I saw apply for midwifery through access course.
Snapchat got us here today.
And I was like, oh my God. And it was so weird. It was like I had a vision.
Yeah.
Or like deja vu of when I thought about it that one day in secondary school, and I just put it back in my mind. So after I saw it, I was like, okay, I think I can actually do this. I think I'm actually capable. Like, it started coming, I was like, I can do this, you know. And it wasn't even more so because I feel like everyone thinks you want to be a midwife. Babies. When that is literally the last thing.
And it's the thing you do the least.
The thing that lasts like delivering the baby.
Well,
It depends, but it's the tipping point. Like it's
Yeah,
not even
it's
the
not-
main.
yeah.
It's not the main course.
because people think you get to cuddle babies
Yeah,
all
you're
day.
saying
Oh, no.
That is we get a cuddle for lucky, by the way.
Once in a while,
Once in a blue
like,
moon. If
it's
you even
the-
have the time
right?
to,
Thank you.
like,
It's the NICU nurses that can say that, they can
they can
cuddle babies.
nurses.
Hey, we don't
Yeah.
need that one.
So it was actually more so like the anatomy of pregnancy, the different diseases that, just things like that. And I thought, whoa, this is interesting. This is actually something I can actually grasp onto.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did my research, went to search to see if I could actually qualify for the access course. And then lo and behold, when I was searching for access courses, the college that I went to, they had like two separate buildings. So it was one that had like the college, like the health social care, the normal, the A levels, the usual, and then another whole building for like access courses only. So funny, like it was such a coincidence. Oh my god, okay, like there's one
place,
there, like there's a place right next to me that I can do this. Anyway, went on the application, now like applied for it, all of that stuff. So I said, cool, I'm not going to say anything to my mum until I actually get onto it, because I've said so many things at this point that she's just going to be like, whatever.
Yeah,
like the next time I bring her something. Yeah, so lo and behold, I then got in. Like I got access.
Praise God.
So I had to apply for student loan for it as well. But it said that when I graduated, the loan got taken off basically. So I then applied for the loan, got accepted to both. They gave me the loan, everything. And then 2019 September, I started my access course. I then brought it to my mum and I said, look, I've generally found something I actually want to do. I really want to go through with this. Like, I know I've, had a bit of setbacks before, but is it? She was still a bit like, yeah, we'll see. Even my dad.
I think it's at the point where it's like, I have to see it.
Yeah. We had so much back and forth about my career and what I wanted to do. I think everyone was just fed up. Like, they just didn't, not that they didn't care. Then they were just so like, okay, whatever, like, Claudia, like, just do what you want to do. And so I started my access course, and when I started, I was so on fire. Like, I loved it, like, I was like, cool, like, I'm genuinely working towards something I want to do. Like, when it came to like writing my personal statement for like UCAS and stuff, I did it so quickly. I remember like I was one of the first people to finish mine. Like, I did it so quickly.
Wow.
So that was another sign to me, like, okay, I'm going in the right direction, because I'm actually feeling really good about this. And then, so that was 2019. So then 2020 came, and then COVID came. So initially my course was meant to be from September to June. So from September 2019 to June 2020. And then February 2020 came, went into lockdown.
Hey, that lockdown.
So lockdown came, and then obviously all the work from home and all the school from home came. And I don't think my access course was obviously prepared enough for that. So instead of doing that, because the way they did it is that they taught us and then gave us all the units. It wasn't like one by one. It was very different the way we were taught and the way we were given our courses and our coursework. It wasn't like normal, like how we were used to in school. So they literally gave it to us, gave us all our learning at once, and then said, boom, here's your assignments, go on, get on with it. So because they did that, instead of them like getting us to work from home, they basically said to us, look, because we're in lockdown and we was initially meant to finish in June, we're obviously not going to go that far anymore because there's nothing else for us to do. They said, so in order for you guys, because it was like calculated by points, that's how you'd get into uni. So they basically said, so we're going to knock off 2 units of the course, and to up your points, you can either pick one of the ones that we like to drop, that you can pick to do one, or you can retake one that you failed. But obviously we still had the rest that we had to finish as well. So it was like to basically get an adequate amount of points, basically. I don't know if it's making sense. Those that have done the access course,
those that know will know.
Or know what I'm talking about.
If you're listening, you know.
Anyway, so I had one assignment that I had failed. And I needed to either redo that assignment or get one of the pick another one to basically like get the adequate points or whatever. Lockdown came and I just fell back. Like, I fell back into that depressive state. I can't pinpoint where it came from. I'm sure it was just the enemy just putting hella doubts in my mind because
Probably
the
because
enemy saw I was on track.
Yeah,
and
you
he
were
said,
going
you know
and he
what?
said,
This is where I'm gonna grab
put
her.
something
I'm gonna
in
grab
the
her. I'm
works.
gonna
Yeah.
put something in the works. And I fell into another depressive state. And I just remember like not even knowing why I felt this way. Like it was the most frustrating time of my life. Like the most frustrating time of my life. Before, when I actually used to tell the story, I used to cry. But now that I don't cry, you know.
Hey,
like,
God
I used
hasn't
to cry.
lifted her from that place.
I fell into that depressive state again, unfortunately. And I didn't end up completing the coursework that I needed to basically to get the points. And I knew I didn't do it. So months was going by and I literally put in the back burner of my mind, and just continued like everything was okay. I obviously didn't tell my parents because I thought my mom was gonna hand me my bag. I literally you know what, let me just leave this till results day. So at least when I get kicked out is after summer. So let me have a ball. Let me have a ball. Let me have a ball before my mom
That's hilarious.
kicks me out of the house, because that's the direction that I thought I was going in. So results day came. So results day came and I don't know what type of miracle I was expecting, but I decided to just check my UCAS. I'd only applied for 2 unis, by the way. So I thought, well, one of them has to accept me.
Someone's going to take me.
You know. So I called one of the unis and I called my first choice. And they were like, yeah, sorry, we haven't received like any adequate points from you. Basically said, you're not made for this, baby. They said rejected. I said, oh, okay. And then I remember like there was the option of applying for like clearing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me go down that route. I can't lie to you guys. I think I tried about 2 unis and then I was like, there's no point. Like, this is not for me. Forget it. So this was the day of the results day. Remember this? Yeah. This is the day of the results day. So I said to myself, okay, cool. It's done. Like, I just have to tell my parents, like,
you've tried.
I've tried.
Yeah.
And I remember that results day. I remember my mum coming to me. She said, oh, everyone's getting their results. Like, haven't you got yours? And I was like, no,
not here, ma'am.
No,
not here.
It's tomorrow. Because I was like, let me just save
buy
it for
yourself
tomorrow.
one more day.
Buy myself
see what
one
you
more
can
day
do.
and see what I can do. She was like, tomorrow. Anyway, tomorrow came. No, I'm skipping it. So this is where God really comes in. So during this time, I wasn't really a prayerful person like that. I did the go to church with your mom,
like you do,
like
raised,
you do,
but
you're
you're
raised,
not there
but never
yet.
had my own personal relationship with God. I didn't think at that point I could even count on one hand how much I'd prayed by myself that year. And I was just so fed up, and I said, I have no option but to pray. And it's crazy because I feel like God always pushes you
to that point where you call onto Him,
where you literally have no other option but to pray.
Yeah.
Like, that is the work of God. Like, that is how He operates. So I said, and it was the shortest yet most sincere prayer I've ever done in my life. But it was so short.
The ones when it's coming from deep
I literally went on my knees. I'll never forget. I went on my knees and I looked up and I said, God, I know I've been a fool. But genuinely, like, studying midwifery was something that genuinely gave me an ounce of joy. Like, it gave me the little hope of life. Like, days when I, didn't want to wake up, I just thought maybe I'll be a midwife, It just gave me that tiny little hope. And I said, God, if you give this to me, I remember I literally said, God, if you give this to me, I promise to pursue midwifery like no other. Like, my passion for it will be 10/10. Like, the way I've played games, I will not play games like this is something else. And I said, amen. And I went to sleep.
Short and sweet.
Because I said, I got nothing left. I've got nothing left. Short and sweet. Went to sleep. I woke up in the morning. I checked my UCAS. Thought maybe my miraculous prayer worked. Nothing. I said, right, time to tell mom then, let me start just packing my bags. And something in me said, just call the second choice that you applied for, because you ain't called them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Just call them. Like,
Just
you never know.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. So I said, okay. I did it. I called number, called, said hello. Hi, I said, hi, my name's Claudia. I was just wondering, like, if you had received
anything,
anything. And they said, oh, we've been waiting for you to call.
Hey!
We offered you an unconditional offer ages ago.
Hey!
All we needed was for you to submit your maths and English. We were waiting to hear back from you. And I was like, I haven't heard from anybody. I literally checked my email. God. I checked my junk. I said, I haven't heard from nobody. I was like, nothing. She was like, can you not see it on your UCAS? I said, no. She said, give me a second. She said, refresh your UCAS. Refreshed it. You've received an unconditional offer.
See how God works.
I said,
what?
I literally said, I said, this can't be real.
What God cannot do does not work.
I said, this can't be real. I remember just standing still. I said, that was my first time seeing the true work of God in my life. I said, so this God that everybody speaks about.
He's there. He's real.
This God that my mom has been drilling into my head since the moment I could understand English. Wow. I said, wow. It literally took me a minute. Like, I had to take a minute before I told, like, everyone. And, like, I said, wow. Anyway, so eventually I broke the news to my mom, and she was like, oh,
thank
finally,
God.
I broke the news to my, they were like, oh, finally, she's doing it. Like, she's actually doing it. She's doing something. And I said, oh my God. And that was the day that I vowed to never leave my passion for midwifery. Like, I vowed, because that was my promise to God. I said, I will never let go of this passion. I will never. And yeah, went to uni for 3 years, started in 2020.
Finished with a first class.
Qualified with a first class. And I didn't play, guys. I kept my promise to God. I didn't fail one assignment. I didn't fail one exam. I didn't resit nothing.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Even days. There were days, placement days.
Yeah, placement
where
day.
I was like, I can't do this. And I just had to remember the promise. And I said,
placement, she really worked for it. Because now hearing the story, I know why you showed up. Because times when you were there, you shouldn't be there. I was like, why is she here?
I showed up in times where, in the third year, guys, my dad got ill, really, really ill. My dad got really ill. Like, it was the first time in my life where I thought I could lose a parent. And I still showed up. I didn't miss a day. I didn't miss a day. Because I said to myself, I said, if I could give my dad, because all my dad wanted was for me to qualify. And I said, if I could give my dad a little bit of hope by me finishing this, I will do this. I got up. Not easily, though.
I can't even imagine to even be in the mindset to kind of show up with everything in the background.
I showed up
Hats off
crazy.
Hats off to you.
That promise I made to God was not a promise I was going to fall short on at all. So yeah, qualified, finished with a first, qualified. In 2023.
Hey.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
And I actually met Olivia in that trauma.
When she was going through life. Life.
Oh my God. Because you can literally look at me and just see I wasn't okay.
Yeah, literally. But I remember that day. I just saw her down the hall. I was just thinking, she was lost weight. She was skinny. She just looked like, when someone just looks like, I'm going through it. Like, she didn't even have to open her mouth. That's just how she looked. And I was like, hey.
I think I went through a breakup at the same time.
Yeah, you did.
Everything.
Life was coming at my friend at
me
all
from the
angles.
left, from the right. Oh my God. But
you know what? Strongest soldier.
I think the strongest soldier of 2023 goes to me.
We give it to you. We give it to you. Take it. Take it.
Honestly.
Because, you did well.
I did really well. I think I did.
And
I always pat myself on the back for that.
100%.
I went through a journey to get
But I think everything you went through also brought you where you are. Because I think that drive wouldn't have been there if you didn't have those bumps along the road. 110%. Like, you needed to turn to God. Because not only did you get your degree, but now you have a relationship with God as well. And who
Win
knows
is
that
a
that would not have
win.
happened
Right.
if maybe things had gone a different
A win
direction.
is the actual win.
Girl, well done.
Thank
You
you.
made it.
Right, now that we've spoken about me.
Hey.
And my long story. How did you
you
get into midwifery?
Guys, mine is not as interesting and as long as Claudia's story, but I think mine was quite literally the opposite of kind of what you went through. I was a bit straightforward. So how it started was in secondary school, guys, I wanted to become a lawyer.
How did we get
I said I want to wear a suit and skirt and grab my suitcase and just be walking. I wanted to become a lawyer. I used to watch Suits all the time as well. If you guys know Suits, you know Suits. I said I wanted to become a lawyer. And then I got to year 10. That's when you like picked your GCSEs and stuff. And I did not like history. I didn't like any of I was looking online and all of these things is saying do this, do that. I was like, I don't like any of these things. I was like, God, what am I gonna do? So anyways, in my head I was like, okay, I'll become a lawyer. And I remember going to they used to do, I don't know if they do it anymore, but like open days,
career days and stuff?
yeah, they used to do stuff
Did they
like
still
that.
do that? I don't know.
I have no clue.
Since
I feel like
COVID, yeah,
everything
COVID
just
ruined
boom,
everything.
plummeted. And I went to one with my friend and she also wanted to do like something alongside law. We said, yeah, let's go together. Guys, I've never been so bored in my life. Hey,
Damn God.
they were talking. I was sitting there and I was just like, this is not for me. Like I thought, because I can argue a little bit. I thought that was enough to get me there. But when I was looking at the theory, I was like, not for me. So I'm back to the drawing board. And I just picked whatever for GCSEs. I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. It's just GCSEs. Like, where's that going to go? And then I finished secondary school. And then there was another opportunity for like the careers thing. But this one was at the University of Surrey. But it was a week. So me, I was thinking, mini holiday in my head. I was like, mini holiday.
Hey, mini getaway.
Mini getaway. It was like everything was paid for. And I went to that. And then I remember there was a day dedicated to healthcare. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting. So we did pharmacy, nursing, midwifery. They didn't really touch on midwifery too tough, but it was more like general nursing.
Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like midwifery was never made
Ever.
like a subject that was like, it's very difficult.
It
like,
is difficult,
don't get
guys,
it. Like,
please.
it's difficult, but I don't feel like midwifery was ever put
It
on the
wasn't
table.
spoken
It
about.
wasn't spoken about. It was always
about.
law,
Nursing.
nursing, and like
Doctor, become
architecture,
a doctor.
just like very, Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. It was never really spoken about. But when the little bit we touched, I was like, okay, interesting. So I went back and I was like, I want to become a gynecologist.
You literally went from here to here.
I want to be gynecologist. I was like, because they just touched about it just a tiny little bit, but it was about like women's health. So when I looked into it, I said, you know what? Yeah, I want to empower women. This is what I want to do. My brain back then didn't know to become a gynecologist, you have to become a doctor. So when I was finding that out and I was calculating the years, and you know, back in the day, like I want to have a child by 22, I want a house by 21.
The
So
limits
when
we used to put on us. So who did we think we
no,
are?
honestly, who? But when I was calculating it, it went past my timeline. So I said, is this what I want to do? I was literally like, I don't know. And I remember speaking to my dad about it. He's never been so happy in his life. He was like, yes, do it. It's good. And then he brought up nursing as well. He was like, that or nursing. And I was just like, okay, not too sure. And then more research into it. And then I remember like looking in Google saying careers that you can do for women's health other than gynecologist. And then I came across midwifery. And then that looked really interesting. Like you as well, it wasn't about the baby's part that I was really interested in. Like, I see like pregnancy is very vulnerable. So I just wanted to be there. And I was also
It's
about
like
the
so
anatomy.
womanly.
Yeah, like I just thought, like, what could be more
Like,
feminine
I love being a
than
woman.
empowering
It's
another
like,
woman?
yeah.
Like, it was just like, that was it. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. And then also, at the time, one of my aunties was pregnant. So she was going through her little journey as well. So it was like, I was kind of piggybacking on her as well, asking what she's doing, the appointments. I think I went to one appointment and, you know, like listening in and like palpating the stomach. I just thought, hey, this is so cool. Like, hey,
This
like,
is interesting.
I was thinking, does she know what she's doing when she's just, it was so cool. So ever since I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I remember going, like, so I'm in sixth form now. So I did health and social care and sociology in sixth form. So the health and social care counted for 2, and then the sociology was 1. Don't know why I picked sociology. I don't like sociology. That was lengthy.
I like sociology.
I didn't like
I loved
sociology.
it.
It was giving me law
I really
vibes.
wish that was the one A level that I wish I could have continued with.
Really?
I really loved it.
I did not, no.
I loved
Like,
it. I did it for GCSEs.
No, I didn't like it.
I loved it.
I didn't mind learning the content. It was the exams, the essays. And I was just like...
You have to really put your thinking cap on.
Yeah, and I think, like, kind of like you as well, where I didn't really like it, I just had no passion to write these long essays. Why is my arm aching and I don't even like the subject? I was like, But I had to do it anyways. So those are the 3 I did. And then I remember saying to my... So health and social care, they would like help you pick the career paths you wanted to go on. So I remember going to one of the teachers, this man, and I was like, I want to become a midwife. The man looked at me and said, no.
God forbid.
He said, you're not going to get in. And I remember thinking, why? And he was like, midwifery's hard to get in. They don't just take anyone. You're not going to get in.
That was also something. Like, the way they made midwifery look so competitive.
That's what he said. He said they don't take that many people.
Yeah,
you're not going to get in.
When my God says.
Right. When he says yes, nobody can say no. Word to Beyonce.
Right.
Yeah, he was like, no. And I was just like, no. He was like, do nursing first, do adult nursing, and then go do midwifery. Because I think that's when they had just started doing that 18-month thing. And I thought about it for so long. I don't want to do nursing. And I remember telling my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, he's right. Do nursing. And my dad knew someone in his church whose daughter was a nurse.
There's always somebody at the church.
There's an uncle whose daughter.
There's always someone's uncle's auntie's daughter that has done
and they were like,
something.
look at her. She's done well. She just finished her nursing. And she was also going to start doing her like midwifery. So it was like, just do that because you're going to do midwifery in the end. Like, in my soul, I just knew I did not want to be a nurse. Like, at that point, I couldn't tell you why. I just knew not for me. I just don't want to be a nurse. So going back and forth with this 2R, and then I went to a different woman and she was basically backing what he was saying. And they were just like, just do it, you know, it'll be shorter, you'll know more, you can do more. I just wasn't budging. So I just said to myself, I'm going to apply for midwifery. I'm going to do what I can. And if I don't get in, we'll revisit the drawing board. And so then I was like, I was slacking a little bit in sociology because I was just not bothered. So I was like, I need to pick it up because if it is as competitive as they're saying, I need to make sure my grades are coming through and stuff like that. So sociology was more exams and essay based, and health and social care was like we had like units.
Yeah, it was like coursework.
Yeah, coursework all the time. So you do loads of different coursework, and even though that was long, I'll just get it done.
Just get done.
And then obviously COVID happened. Now, I know COVID was bad for many people, but for me, I think it helped me because I did not know how I was. My sociology was improving, but I was like sitting in that exam hall. So COVID happened, and I remember writing my personal statement to become a midwife, and it was just like everyone is telling me do this, do that. So it's like when you're showing them, it just felt like, okay, but it's pointless at the time. Like, it's like, I'm telling you, this is the right way. I've been doing this longer than you. But I was just like, and shout out to one uncle that I had, and he was just like, just do it. You be fine. Just go for it. And I was like, yeah. And then when he said it, my dad was more like, okay. And sometimes they have to hear it from someone else. Yeah, they always have to hear it. They have to hear it from someone else. So then he was like, okay, fine. Yeah, just do it. We'll pray about it. We'll see. I applied. I think it's 4 unis you apply for. I don't know, or 5.
Yeah, you have 5. I think
I
only applied for 2. You had the option. You had 5, but I only applied for 2.
I did all 5.
Why did I do that?
I did all 5, and guys, I went to open days, kind of like interview things. Out of the 5 guys, I only got into 1.
Amen. And that's the one God chose for you.
Amen to that. But when I got into the one, I said, God, if the results don't match what they're telling me, what am I going to do? And you know, when you start to think, should I have listened to them? Should I have listened? But I was like, it's fine. I remember I didn't even tell my dad I only going to one. And I think he thought I had 3 options. I had the one. And then COVID happened, obviously. And all my coursework for health and social was done. So I was like, not worried about that. But obviously, sociology, we had to write an exam. So they were going to go based off our previous stuff. I was like, God, please. Because I know where I was in sociology. I was like, And just only like the last 1 or 2 had been good. So I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I remember I used to work in Superdrug. Results day happened. I was still working during COVID because Superdrug was known as an essential shop. Results day, I was in the back. They put me on the makeup aisle. I was hiding in the stock, and my heart was just pitter-pattering. And I remember I got like a text with a link from the uni saying like you can start like the what's the process called?
The
enrollment. Yeah. Enrollment. Hey, I've never been so happy in my life. Text me that so quick. I was like, look, I got in. And he was like, oh, is this the one you're going to choose? I said, yeah, because he doesn't know.
It's the only one. I ain't got a choice, mate.
He doesn't know there's no option. I was like, yeah, this one. I was like, yeah, because it's close to home. It's not too far.
Yeah.
And that's how I got here. Wow. Because,
and here we are
today. And uni was an experience.
Uni really was.
Uni was an experience.
Listen, if we're going to touch on being a student midwife a little bit later
that's going to come. But
however,
we will explain that part.
Listen, throw your enjoyment away, okay? Or let me not say throw it, limit your enjoyment. Or it's going to be limited for you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But also, guys, one thing I learned is enjoyment will always be there. You have to pick and choose the right time.
You need to pick what's more important.
There. Because when you lose that balance, it will show you shaggy.
Anyway, we will get into being a student midwife.
We shall. But that is how
later
we got here.
And we are here today as qualified midwives. So we've both been qualified.
I'm coming up to 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
2
years.
Coming up to 2
That's
years
crazy. Absolutely insane. But I feel like being a midwife, you feel like, not that you've been qualified, but you've just been doing it for a very long time.
Right.
Because you're thrown straight into the hospital, literally months after you start.
You just feel like, and you just, when you go in, it's not something where you can find your
feet. I was going to say, because we both started in post-COVID. So we were the first cohort to like be student midwives with the COVID like restrictions and things like that. So we weren't deep into COVID, but it was like the back end of COVID and all the restrictions and rules.
And everyone, I feel like as well, like everyone, the people that are supposed to set these things up for us, everyone was still trying to navigate how direction and where things go as well. Because no one had ever been through this before. So I feel like we were like thrown into the deep end of a pool, and I was just like,
literally just trying to float as much as we can. And all our uni lectures were all online.
Right.
Guys,
that one.
I don't know if it was just me, but the difference between online and real life it shocked me.
Is massive.
It shocked me.
Hey,
I said this cannot be what they were telling us on Zoom. The way they explain like urinalysis, palpation,
right.
It sounds like I could. I got this.
And you get the.
I will never forget. Yeah, my first day as a student midwife. When the midwife said, "Can you go do baby obs?" I was like, yeah. Guys, you know what I did? Hey, I found, you see that, God bless that clean utility closet. Because that last time, the clean utility closet or the dirty utility has saved me.
Guys.
And Google was my best friend. I kid you not, in that first 2 weeks, because I don't think people understand, like going from them telling you what it's like to be a midwife or how to be a midwife and through Zoom, and you actually,
it's so different. It's so
the difference.
It's like you were told something completely different. And also, I don't know about you, but my lectures were shit.
Yeah,
they were.
My
horrible.
lectures were not great. And I think I have to give them a little bit of grace because they weren't in their normal teaching. It was a first for them. Like I said, we were the first like cohort to experience it. So
It's true.
I give them a little bit of grace,
It's
but
true.
it wasn't the best way to
It
learn.
was literally, I feel
especially a
like-
subject like midwifery. It just wasn't the
No.
best way to learn at all. I learned, I'd say 99% of what I know in placement.
On my own, I think.
On my own.
Yeah, and
my
placement
own
was
is
a
the
good
and
thing.
placement.
And placement.
So placement
I
is
definitely picked up a
necessary.
lot of things from placement, and sometimes you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Like it
Yes,
clicks, and
it
you're like,
starts
oh,
to
okay,
click
cool,
and makes
but
sense.
The amount of lectures I even slept.
Yeah, I feel like I'd go to placement, learn new things, and go to my lecture and they explain. I'd be like, oh, okay,
That's
makes sense.
it. Yeah, yeah.
But whenever I'd learn something in my lecture and I'd come to the hospital, I'd be like,
if
it
you ask me, I'll
sounds
just
like,
stare at you in the
yeah,
face because I'm like,
it sounds like two different things.
it is, yeah.
But yeah, well, oh my God, we're 2 years in.
2 years, and
Wow,
it's been a journey.
it's actually been a journey.
It's been a journey. Lots of highs and some lows.
Yeah, lots of highs, lots of lows.
But I guess it's healthcare because
I mean, yeah,
there's not much we can
at all. By the way,
we can do. But you know what? I'm very thankful for the journey.
Yeah, 110%.
And for just sticking to. Because when the people were telling me no, like I could have just, even you as well, like the way you're journeying, there's a lot of points we could have just given up
100%.
and just turned around. So thank God for pushing us through. And now we're doing what we want,
what we love,
what we enjoy. And now we are trying to, spread the love, as you may say.
Spread the love
like
of
educate,
midwifery.
empower.
Yes.
I think at the core of it, the both of us kind of said we got into this to empower women,
to
elevate
100%.
women, to be there for the women.
Our
The babies
women
are cute too,
yeah,
but
especially our women.
And
obviously that's a huge conversation that again we will be getting into
another day. You guys are gonna need a different buzzball for that one.
But most importantly, us Black women, it's very important. There wasn't a lot of us in midwifery before.
Definitely not. I could count on my hand how many.
During placement, there wasn't many of us. I think even where we work, in terms of like even those that were qualified, there wasn't much
many.
that looked like us.
No.
And
that can be really intimidating,
especially
very intimidating
with the statistics that are out there. Just not to say that anyone of another race cannot look after someone, because listen, I know some amazing midwives that are not Black. It's not about the colour. It's about
the compassion
and women feeling safe. I mean, they should feel safe with everyone, but they just feel a different kind of safe.
Yeah.
When they see someone that looks like them. But again,
we're saving that one for
another
day. Time.
Oh, good. Time.
But yeah, so that's how we got here. Now, do you have any stories to tell? I want your most embarrassing story.
My most embarrassing. Do you know what? I've had so many embarrassing moments. But I feel like a lot of like my embarrassing stories happened within like my first few months of qualifying.
It's the best time to happen.
So I think this was it. I think this was a couple months me in. So yeah, it was a couple months into me in, and I had a delivery. And the delivery was a multip. So those that don't know what a multip is, it's basically a woman that's had more than one baby before. So multips, we say, tend to deliver very quickly. Depending on your parity, which is how many babies you've pushed out, as they used to say. P for push. Did you need to say P for push? How many babies they pushed out? The higher the parity, basically, the more you are at risk of bleeding, because your uterus just takes a little bit longer to contract back to its normal size. So I had a para 2, I think she was. So this is a lady that had pushed out 2 babies. So she had 2 babies, and it was going well. It was going well. It was one of those crazy shifts. So unfortunately, we are quite short staffed across the globe.
But
so we have shifts where we deliver 2, 3, 4 babies sometimes. In one shift, you're just hopping from room to room.
And although it might not sound like a lot, guys, it's a lot of work to deliver,
especially when you have
3 babies in one
night. With no break. Right. So this was my second baby of the night, and I had literally just delivered, and there was no one else to take. This lady that had just come in, she had come in through triage, literally contracting. She was 6 centimeters. When you hear a multiple 6 centimeters, you have about 10 seconds. You have about
that baby's coming.
you
like
have about 10
yesterday.
seconds. Get your gloves, open your delivery pack, and get that baby.
Get that baby.
Anyway, she was doing really well, and she was on the monitor, and then she started having a couple of decels. So I think two things when the lady a multip especially starts having decels. I think, okay, either there's babies coming or there's a cord trapped somewhere. But my first thought is always this baby's close to coming. So once I started seeing the decels, because sometimes decels can lead to like instrumental deliveries and them having to expedite delivery in whatever way they feel safe. So she didn't have a cannula because I just feel like I don't need to cannulate everybody. So as soon as I started seeing the dips and the decels, I thought, all right, cool, let me get a cannula. So get my cannula in, I get it in, it's all good, whatever is working. Anyway, delivers baby comes out, amazing, right? Deliver the baby, happy birthday, place it on mum's chest, we're all good. And then I heard a splash and I thought, what's that? I looked down at my feet and I saw a huge pool of blood. And it was running down the bed, and I thought, so what did I do? I pulled the emergency buzzer, of course. Pulled the emergency buzzer, everyone's coming in. Bear in mind, placenta's still in situ at this point. Pulled the emergency buzzer, everyone comes running in. Right, you've got this. And I'm like,
give me a minute.
Okay, give me a second. Anyway, they get the placenta out, and it was one of the tests that was causing quite a lot of bleeding. So the doctor was like, let's get this stitched up quite straight away. Where's the lidocaine? Oh, I haven't got any lidocaine. Let me go and run and get some. So I ran. I even went to another room. I didn't even go to the. I went to another room because we need this really quickly. I went to another room. I grabbed the lidocaine. I came and I was like, got it. And I went, psh, and it smashed in my hand. Bear in mind, this lady's trickling. The consultant's in there. Not the consultant, sorry. The reg is in there. The doctor's in there. The midwife in charge is in there, alongside all the midwives that had come to help. And I had just smashed the lidocaine. I wanted the floor to swallow me. I said, God, if this is a time where, you create some type of thing where people can just disappear.
Let now be it.
Can that be it? Can that be today? Oh my God. I just remember one of the midwife in charge going, don't worry, I'll just get another one. And I just thought, I literally wanted the ground to I think that was the most, I felt so embarrassed.
I know, because in an emergency situation,
and in emergency as well, I'm delaying. Like what?
And you just start to think, why now?
And I was opening it with like panic, I was panicking, and I think that was actually like my first PPH where it was just me in the room. I had like PPH.
I was about to say, for those that don't know,
it's called a postpartum hemorrhage. It's basically when a lady, the guidelines keep changing because it was 500. Well, I feel like every trust is different.
It's different.
Every trust determines what a postpartum hemorrhage is, but ours is over 500 mils. So it's when a lady's lost more than 500 mils, we call it a postpartum hemorrhage. And for anything over a litre, we say a massive.
1.5.
Yeah. Was it 1.5 now? It's always changing, I feel.
Yeah, guys, that's the thing in healthcare, guys.
Yeah.
You will sleep today, you wake up tomorrow.
So 1.5 is a massive obstetric hemorrhage. So a little bit more serious than a postpartum hemorrhage. Yeah, so I'm like, this lady's having a PPH and I've just smashed
the lidocaine. And guys, lidocaine is an anesthetic that basically numbs the area. So the significance of that is she needed that to numb the area to stitch the woman.
To start stitching. So they couldn't start stitching until the lidocaine was administered.
And she went...
And I had smashed it. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. What about you? What's your most embarrassing story?
I've been trying to think. I don't know.
Embarrassing is so hard. I feel like...
I've been trying to... As you're talking, I've been thinking, like, what is my own? I don't know. That's not really embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing, but it was just an awkward situation. I don't know if I have other...
I feel like me smashing the lidocaine was literally my only embarrassing story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very hard to, like... experience embarrassing.
I have an embarrassing story. How can I forget? Sorry, guys. I don't know, how did I forget this one? This one was truly embarrassing. So my lady was delivering, guys, and when you're pushing, it can take up to 1 hour. So I'm in the room, I'm doing push. She's doing really well, it was hard work, but we got the baby out, you know, congratulations, give mum the baby. She sorted her out, everything, right? And the partner was looking at me funny. But I didn't realize, I'm thinking, why is he looking at me funny? But I was like, you know, he's just had a baby. Maybe he's taken back. But every time I'd speak to him, you know, when someone's just looking at you and they're looking at you like, you know, when you're thinking, is there something in my teeth? Is this like, what is it?
Yeah.
Guys, I leave the room to go get something. And I just quickly took my phone and I looked at my camera. My wig was back here. Thank you. And I was wearing a ginger wig.
Guys, I can't tell you how many times my wig has slidden back in this job. You know, when you're getting a lady to deliver, I don't think you guys understand. Like,
you're
this
on
is
your
not.
knees,
This is not the movies where it's
baby.
like
No, thank
women work. Let me tell you, to get these babies out. Like, we work together.
Yeah, we're both
Together.
putting a shift.
And I don't know about you, but I'm so serious about my spontaneous vaginal delivery. I'm so serious about my vaginal deliveries. Like, if my lady comes in my room and her birth plan is to have a spontaneous vaginal delivery, I'm gonna do everything
we can
in
to get
my
that baby
power
out.
to get that baby out. Like, I'm that one where when the doctor says, we're fine.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
when you start pushing.
you know, when the, like, because in our trust, you're meant to give 1 hour
for
pushing until they come and review to see if, you know, they may need
and
to be
that's also
instrumental.
because they can get tired.
Yeah,
which
babies
means
can
it's
get
not
tired, mums can get tired, you know. Obviously, we have to review the trace because babies get the most distress during the second stage of labour, which is the pushing stage, for non-midwifery language. Yeah. And sometimes it'd be like 50 minutes and you hear that, listen, I still got 10 minutes. Wait over there. Like, wait there. Because why are you coming in already?
No.
I've got 10 minutes left to get this baby out.
And one thing we're going to do is get that baby out.
So listen, the amount of times my wig has slidden. There's times where I've wanted to just remove it.
Nah, that day
because
was
the work.
so embarrassing. Now I remember, guys, ginger wig is here, and my black expired cornrows. You can barely make out the cornrows, and I had a band, so my band is still here. The wig is giving me headache, but it's not holding the wig down, and the wig is here. I said, that's why the man was looking at me like that.
The amount of times where like you've been like push. Because the wig is like sliding back.
No,
like
that I can, and I didn't even feel that one happen. I was so in the moment, I didn't feel it. Could I not have worn a black wig that day?
Honestly,
no. I think that is definitely my most embarrassing. How can I forget that? Now I have a headband. I have another headband.
You actually always do actually do that. You actually always have a melt band, and then
I was like, no, thank you. It traumatized me. No one should see that.
Don't stress me out with this question. My first shift as a midwife, listen, that shift had me questioning whether I did the right thing. If it wasn't for the Lord himself, coming and blessing me with this career, honestly, that job, seriously, that first shift.
Really? I think you've told me about that shift.
So my first shift was a night shift, which is not helpful
at all,
because in the hospital on day shift, management's in, all the matrons are in, like there's a whole lot more support. You know, we were assigned, so our first year was it? Our first year was preceptorship. So we were preceptors, which is essentially where we're sort of like kinda guided. Like it's kind of like you're not a student.
What's that thing people do? Probation.
It's kind of like probation. You're given like a booklet. You still have to sign things off like you was when you was a student midwife. You had to do drug calculation exams. You had to complete a whole load of e-learning. There's a lot of stuff that we had to do. Anyway, the midwives that would support us was also on the day shifts as well, essentially.
And I think they only worked days.
They only worked days, and management don't do night shifts. I mean, you have one that's on call, but they're not going to do anything for you on the night, are they?
Nah.
Especially for a preceptor. They're going to be like, none of my business.
It's not
so my first shift was on the ward. So in our trust, we have a ward that's sort of like split into, would you say?
I would say,
split into. So one half is an antenatal side, which is women that are still pregnant, either there for induction, monitoring, or
they just need to be monitored. For some sort of reason.
Monitored. And And then we have postnatal side, which is our ladies that have given birth. Sometimes like they've come back. So readmission. So those that have gone home and had to be readmitted for whatever reasons. Babies that have also had to be readmitted for whatever reasons. So I was working on the antenatal side, so pregnant woman side. And I started off very well. I would say I started off very, very well. So I had Bay 3.
Okay.
Bay 3 can go two ways.
It could.
Bay 3. So I had Bay 3.
There's a bed in that bay that you got to keep a close eye on because you don't know what's coming with that one.
So I had Bay 3. And I remember all my ladies were inductions. I will never forget. They were all inductions, and all of them had their induction processes started during the day. And I think I only had one that was aramable. So that was, when I say aramable, it's basically women that have come in to be induced. Obviously, the aim of our induction is to get the cervix open enough to about 2 to 3 centimeters or more in order for us to be able to break their waters over on labour ward.
Yeah.
So when we say aramable, it's someone that's waters can be broken, basically. So I only had one aramable lady, and everyone else had a ProPes in, or was on a break, or on 24-hour break. And all my ladies were, well, I did my documentation, everything, and I was like, I'm doing well. I was like, I got this. I got this.
Going good.
Yeah, man, I was really nervous, especially about working on the ward as well.
Yeah, as your first
it's
shift,
like you've got 7 patients or more. So I'm like, I was nervous, but after that, I felt good. I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, so it was time for me to go on my break now. So I thought first half, aced it. Went to sleep peacefully, and then I wake up. So I had one empty bed, 15. I had one empty bed. And so I came back. Anyway, so I came back and I sat down. I got handover back because you obviously have to hand over your patients to someone else whilst you go on your break. So when I came back, I was getting like any updates from the midwife I'd handed over from. And then whilst I'm getting like the updates, the toilet. So our nurse's station's like right here. The toilet. Toilets are literally right opposite.
Yeah.
All we hear in the toilet is, ah!
Yeah, that sound. If your heart does not jump with that sound,
honestly,
hey.
Everyone's like, what's that? Like, jumping up. We're knocking on the door. Hello. You okay? Like, and she's just screaming. This lady is just quite literally screaming. As a midwife, you know what I'm having a baby sounds like. It can't be described. It's just so distinct.
You just know it.
If
you hear it, you're like, damn it, you're
sounds
having a child.
that you hear and you're like, right, we're having a baby. So I'm like, this sounds like she's having a baby. Anyway, so then we're like trying to get to the point where we're even getting our smart cards out and trying to unlock the door
trying to pick the
lock from the other side. Anyway, so everyone's like, whose patient is this? Whose patient? Me, as I'm saying, whose patient is this? Whose patient is this? Because meanwhile, it was me. Me, I don't know that it was my patient because no one handed over to me. So everyone's like, she came from 15. My one empty bed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, who took handover? Because it couldn't have been me because I was asleep on my break. So someone's taking handover here. No one's answering me. I'm like, so now I'm like, this is on me now. Yeah. So I've switched into I've went from whose lady is this to this, switched on straight away. So I'm like, I'm now moving everyone out of the way. Hello, like, come on. Right. She manages to open the door. I take her back to the bed. Guys, I felt so horrible. Because I didn't know her name. Where she came from. I didn't know her background. Nothing. I didn't know a thing. So I get her on the bed and I'm like, right, like,
need to examine.
Are you okay? Like, what's your name? So I'm like, what's your name? She tells me her name. I'm like, okay, what are you feeling? She's like, I feel like my baby's coming. I'm like, okay, is it okay if I examine you? She said yes. Anyway, bear in mind, everyone's like behind me, like, ready to go. You know how it's like. What's so funny? Like, when like you're on the ward and someone's like about to deliver, you have one person outside, one person with the wheelchair. Like everyone's like ready on go. Anyway, so I get my gloves on and I examine her and I didn't even have to go far. I literally went and Vertex was pushing me back.
Oh,
The Vertex was pushing me back.
the baby said, "I'm coming."
The baby said, "I'm
today."
coming." So I said, she's delivering. Kicked off the brakes now. Run her over to labor ward, right? So bear in mind, let's remember, I've got no handover. I don't know anything. Like, I don't know who's taken this handover. Some people were still on break as well. So I was like, it could have been someone that's on break.
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, we get her over to labor wards now, and I don't know anything. And obviously, there's certain factors or risk factors that a lady can have that can impact the delivery. You know, there's
Definitely.
a lady, if for example, if someone's bled previously a lot previously, or they've had a hemorrhage, or they hemorrhaged in their previous delivery, it's very likely that it can happen again.
Yeah.
If there's a lady that's had a retained placenta before, it's likely it can happen
There's
again.
just loads of things.
There's just loads of things that you have to take into account, and there's a lot of risk factors that you have to know before delivery, so you're ready, you're on go. And while we was wheeling her over, that's all I could think of. I was like, I don't know any risk factors. Like, I don't know what I need to be ready for, or what this midwife I'm handing over to needs to be ready for. All I know is her parity, because I asked her how many babies she's had, and I was asking her any medical history, any more, like, she couldn't even think straight as well, because poor lady's delivering.
Yeah,
so she's just about telling me
thing that's
whatever
on her
she can tell
mind.
me. So I'm just trying my best to like comfort her, but still find out like what I can find out at the same time. Anyway, I get into the room, and obviously I'm fresh. Like, it's my first shift, guys. Like, I'm
literally
fresh.
straight out of the
Okay,
box.
I'm straight out of the box. And the midwife goes, right, give me a hand over. I literally looked at her and I said, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you both. That's when you hear crickets.
Like, I said, I'm really sorry, but I just came back on my break, and you know, all I know is that she's fully dilated and ready to have a baby. Can't tell you nothing.
And sometimes it happens.
And it
actually
happens. It happens.
happens.
Because
There's nothing you
things
can do.
escalate very quickly.
Mhm.
I think people underestimate how quickly things can escalate. Like, you can have someone that's 1 centimeter and you turn around and they're 10
It's
in the next
true.
10 minutes.
It's true.
It happens.
And you can have a baby in this blink of an eye.
So I could literally see like the disappointment in the midwife's face. Like, she literally looked at me like, seriously?
Is it your first
Like,
day? And you're like, yeah.
Like, literally. And I felt terrible. Anyway, I tried to log onto the computer to get whatever details I could get, and by the time NHS computers,
that circle is doing this.
that circle,
That circle.
especially when you're rushing, it's the slowest. So the circle was still loading. The baby had already come out.
Thank you.
Baby
Thank
was
you.
fine, thankfully. Mum was
Thank
fine.
Jesus.
I think the only risk factor that we ended up finding out was that she was a smoker, and that was it. And baby was a little bit on the smaller side.
Given with the smoke.
But yeah, so it was fine, but I felt horrible. I remember I cried. I think I cried more out of frustration more than
Because,
anything.
yeah.
Like, because I was just like, oh, like, it didn't have to go like that. And, you know, and like, everyone was like sort of consoling me, saying it happens. Like,
I was gonna
this
say,
happens
but what
all the
could
time,
you
but
have done? Really
yeah,
and truly,
there's
If
just
you
some
step
situations
step
where
back,
it's
what could
like,
you have done nothing.
yeah, like, she was always going to be fully anyways.
Yeah.
Whether
Like,
I'd known
there's-
about her or not, she would
Yeah.
have, you know, always been fully
There's
dilated at
nothing
that
you
point.
could have done in that situation.
But on your first day, I was, oh no, honestly, I felt so terrible. I was like, I'm rubbish. I can't do this. Forget it. Like, but that day taught me a lesson. Me nah like anyone take my hand over when I'm on
you
break.
can't trust anybody with the information.
Please. Or as soon as I come back, I want to know everything. ASAP. Let me know. New patient, tell me now. So
But it's yeah, that's for the better.
Mm.
So you're always on it. You're quick. And you did it. Now you're 2 years in.
Right.
And then what?
And it happens all the time. And now when I get fully dilated, I'm like, fully,
Let's go.
yeah. Like, literally. You do
The
get used to
excitement
it.
builds up. You're like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's go.
You really do it.
Fine.
Your first shift.
How
was your first shift?
My first shift was good.
You started before me.
Yeah, I started.
Olivia started way before me. We qualified
Yeah.
at the same time, but you started before
I started
me.
what, like 3-4 months before you.
In October. And I
then
started
you
in
started.
January.
My first shift was fine. Like
Your shift was labelled, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I started on the delivery suite on the labour ward, where basically you have you deliver the babies, you look after the women during their labour care and stuff. My first shift was fine. I left there thinking, this this is what 3 years I was crying for. I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine. I literally had a primate. So primate is someone that's never had a child before. This is her first pregnancy, her first labor. And she was the usual epidural on. She had what we call syntocin that helps kind of bring on the contractions and that. It was literally classic labor care throughout my whole shift. So it eased me in. I didn't feel uneasy at any point. I didn't deliver her, so I didn't have a baby. That was the part I was a bit like, okay, if that happens, I'm like, you know, when you're trying to big yourself up,
trying
like,
to get ready.
Okay, yeah, like it was fine.
I feel like the primates give you the time to prepare. They give you the time.
Literally. My first shift was so fun. Like I feel like it was a way to ease in. Like I had time to do everything. She progressed as you would expect. There was nothing. Baby was fine. It was literally straightforward textbook
Delivery.
labor care. Like,
Must be nice.
and I left there and I was like, and it was a day shift. So unfortunately for you,
support.
my first, I'd say 2-3 months was mostly day shifts. And my first month was weekday days. So they did it like that. Because when we started, there wasn't many of us that started at that time. So they were able to kind of fit everyone in. So
that was
like
when that was a luxury.
Yeah.
Now the people them are fighting for jobs. I feel so sorry for the
It's actually
people are
not
fighting
easy.
for jobs. Like it's
not easy out here.
It's not easy out here.
Like,
Where we was out here picking.
I
start
was
on
here.
this day.
Or like
We handpicked our start
I
date.
literally remember being told, oh, do you want to start next week? And I was like, actually, I'm not ready. I need a week to mentally
and
prepare myself. And I'm like, yeah, fine.
Like,
but now, listen, if they get a job, if they want you to start tomorrow, you better be there. Like, it's
that was a
not
luxury.
easy.
Like, I remember our CPF call. So when you thinking of something, I was like, I was at home like
Monday, Tuesday,
January. At first, I actually said February. Then I said, in my bank account can't stretch that far. I need a job. So I said, you know what? I wanted to start the new year and just start off 2024 as a midwife. So I said, you know what? Let me start January. First week of January, I started. Oh no,
perfect. Yeah.
I started on the 8th of January. I remember the date.
I said mid-October. Yeah, literally just that. That is crazy to think about. We've had such opposite experiences. What about your most traumatic traumatizing deliveries?
Well, I've done one bereavement before.
Funny you say that. I just did one as well.
I think that was my most traumatic one, I'd say. I think before that I had a completely different idea of what a traumatic delivery was. But when I did my first bereavement delivery, which is basically delivering a baby with no signs of life, that was extremely traumatic. But what's insane is that I never realized how traumatic it was until after. Because when you're in the moment, you're just
tunnel vision.
You're tunnel vision. All you want to do is make sure, like,
they're okay.
My patient is okay. Like, that's all I cared about. Like, I didn't care about the fact that, you know, I'm about to deliver a baby with no signs of life. I just wanted to make sure she was okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I think we do that a lot. I feel like healthcare as a whole, but specifically we were midwifery. So, but there's loads of moments where you just completely disregard yourself and you put the patient first, whether it is in that situation or even just normal delivering a baby. Like my back could be breaking,
but I don't care.
In that moment, I'm like, we're doing this now. Like, it's just
I could have not eaten that whole day. Like, there's times where I've like, no, I don't want to go on break yet because I want to deliver this baby. Like, I want to deliver my lady. And you forget that you have not eaten since.
And then before you know it, it's 8 something,
and you haven't eaten a thing,
and your belly's now squeezed, and you're like,
it's always the consequences always come afterwards.
But I feel like
my bereavement was so do you know what? I feel like a lot of bereavements usually do go to quite senior midwives. So the midwife that was in charge that day actually said to me, do you know what, Claudia, I think
you can do it.
You've worked long enough. I think you're capable. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, I trust you. I remember her literally saying, I trust you to take this. Like,
that's such a good boost of confidence.
And it was quite a good, like, the fact that I was trusted with a bereavement, it was actually really good. Like, it made me feel really good about myself, even though it wasn't the greatest situation. So I had one, I think it was a 25 weeker. So that's about what, 6-ish months?
Yeah.
Something.
Sorry, guys.
7
We
months.
were.
I feel like
taught in
everyone's
weeks.
always like, yeah, 1 week, 1 month pregnant. 2 month
I'm
pregnant.
like, I don't know what that
weeks,
is.
Like,
What's
we
that?
know.
We work in
So
weeks.
second trimester,
Yeah.
second trimester, 25 weeks, second trimester.
Almost. They're like halfway. You're
Yeah,
past.
halfway.
You're past halfway.
Yeah,
Actually.
past halfway.
Yeah.
And she had already, because a lot of the time with bereavements, a lot of them choose to go home and then they kind of like plan a day when they come in for the delivery. So this lady had gone for a scan. And yeah, so they said no signs of life after the scan, and she was obviously given that date to then come back in. So she had already known that baby wasn't alive, like before she had come in. And I just remember being so worried about saying the wrong thing. Like, I was just thinking on my day, like, let me not say the wrong thing. Like, I don't, like, this
You just don't want to trigger anything.
It's such a sensitive time. So I'm like, I don't even want to trigger anything. I don't want to say anything wrong. But this lady was, despite what she was going through, she was lovely. She was so amazing. Like, I couldn't even, I thought, like, I'd be breaking if this was me. And I'm a midwife.
Honestly.
And she was so good. Her partner was so good. She had such good support system. Her parents came, his parents came, really, really good. And she progressed quite quickly. She literally went from feeling nothing to delivering. So she wasn't feeling much. Because we monitor the uterine activity hourly. Was it every half an hour? Half an hour to hourly. I think when they're in actually contracting, it's every 30 minutes. Yeah. But when they're not contracting, it's about every hour, and you have to check their observations every hour and things like that. So I remember she literally went from having no uterine activity, and then she buzzed the bell for me, and I went in obviously, and she said, I'm starting to feel something. Can I get the PCA, which is
that morphine?
PCA? Yeah, it's basically
morphine,
morphine, and they have like a little clicker to basically administer it. So I remember getting it all set up for her. And went into the room, set up for her, and I think she had just about used about 1 dose, and then she buzzed for me again and said, no, it's really, really painful. So I said, you know what, let me stay in the room, because I can see that she's obviously things are progressing. Literally 2 minutes after that, she was like, I can feel something. So her legs were quite tightly shut. So I was like, we're gonna have to open legs so we can see what's going on. Anyway, literally as soon as she opened, the head literally just came out first, and deceased babies look very different.
Oh my god.
They look very different to alive babies. And like I said, that's not what I was thinking about at all. So I'd obviously rang the buzzer for some help as well, and I remember it was the midwife in charge at the time that came in and helped me, but I'd already delivered by the time the baby by the time she came. And obviously you have to ask them if they want to see the baby, and she was just so distraught at the moment. She's like, I just don't want to see it anyway. So I literally had to take her, we have to weigh the baby, we have to take some samples, we have to make handprints and all of that stuff. And all of that was just normal to me, because I was just in my head, I was thinking, I have to do this for this lady. I have to do this. She wants memories. I have to make this memory box. I have to do this. I have to weigh the baby. I have to make that's all I was thinking. I just want to do this right. I just want to do this right. And I remember going home and just sitting in my room and thinking, I just delivered a demised baby today. And I thought, and this is something I'm going to probably have to
do again. Yeah.
Doing again,
unfortunately. And
it takes a toll, because you literally suppress all your emotions, because it's I'm not showing an emotion because I need to be strong, because this lady needs to be able to
she needs to feel
let it out and safe enough to
it's hard.
Let it out. It's difficult. Hard. That was my most traumatic delivery. Oh my goodness.
And I feel like it hits you up of a lot afterwards, because you don't process what you're doing when you're doing it, because you're just making sure you want to do it right. I need to do this for this patient. And then when you do sit down and it does hit you, it's literally like a train, boom, all of a sudden everything, and then all your thought process is just it's not a nice thing to have to do. But then again, I can't even imagine it for the woman.
Yeah, it's part of the course.
Part of the job, yeah.
Part of the course.
Sorry, girl.
So everyone's like, cuddly babies. No.
Not always.
Not
Not
always,
always.
honey.
It's not always happy.
What was your most?
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your most traumatic
Ew,
delivery?
my most traumatic delivery. This actually happened a couple of months ago. And kind of like you, in the moment, I was like, this is a lot. But I didn't think this is traumatic. But I just remember I had a student working with me. And I just remember just seeing her face, and she just looked like, what the hell?
You know that it's so
Like-
funny when you're working with a student and they look
She just,
so
yeah,
scared.
she was just
and
like...
you just think, wake up. This gonna be you soon.
Smell the coffee. And I was literally like, after I was like, this is traumatizing, isn't it? And I first said it as a joke. And she was just like, And I was like, shit, this is traumatizing. And I was like, damn, like, this is traumatizing for her. So I was like, okay, I need to debrief with her, talk her through it. And then afterwards, I realized this is traumatizing for me as well. I was like, oh, so what happened was, guys, so I was working in the birth center, and in the hospital I work in, the birth center is kind of standalone. So what it means is there's no doctors around. A birth center is midwife led. You do everything kind of by yourself. The doctors come as and when you need them. Our labor ward isn't far, I wouldn't say, but it's different to having them right around the corner than them.
It's
having to
far
come
when you need
upstairs.
them.
In the emergency,
It's far in
It's
an
far.
emergency.
So we were even short staffed that day as well. So I had two
usual.
women. I had one that was an early labourer that was been there the whole night, wasn't doing anything, and I was on a day shift, and she still wasn't doing much. And then I had another lady who had come in who was progressing really well. So they were getting a midwife to come in to be a second to support, because now I have this new woman. But because the first one wasn't really doing anything, we were treating her like an
Early
antenatal every
labourer.
now and then. Like she wasn't doing much, barely contracting, not dilating. So I was with this first woman. We had a water birth, beautiful birth.
Love me a water bath.
I love a water birth,
Love me a water bath.
but I don't think I will have a water birth. That's
I
a
would
so
love
fun.
to have one.
Anyway, that's a so fun of a day. But anyways, yeah, beautiful water birth. Got her out, everything. We give a little injection to help the placenta come, everything. That her placenta was not coming. And this was my first ever time dealing with a situation where I've got a retained placenta. I tried everything in the book, breastfeeding, stool, standing. I did everything. And you know when sometimes we kind of give it a little kind of pull to see if it'll come? Nothing, it wasn't budging. And I was like, I'm not trying to now like have it snap or anything. So then I've called downstairs. They're like, you need to bring her down. So I'm like, okay, well, I need someone for the other woman. Guys, all of a sudden, the other lady started cracking on. And she was a multip. So like Claudia said before, she had a baby before.
When those
All
multips
of
start
a
cracking on,
sudden,
child.
She was cracking on. She got in the pool as well. And at this point, I'm still by myself. I've got a fresh woman that's just delivered. Her placenta is still inside. We're like 1.5 hours post-delivery. And then this one's cracking on. And this one went so quick. So guys, she was in the pool. Between the time where I heard her first, you know, the sounds they make, to having a baby, I would say 15 minutes tops. I'm still by myself.
That's the thing about multi.
I'm still by
They
myself.
will literally go from to
baby. So then, cool. So as she's in the process of pushing, I hear someone come in. I let my student check. Another midwife has come. So I'm like, at this point, I'm here anyway. So I got to take her. So you got to take the other one type of thing. This woman has a delivery. So she said, okay, she went to an office, something. She went somewhere and she was coming back. So I've gone back into my room. This woman delivers. Nice. The water is getting a bit dark. You know, there's bleeding, but
that's the thing about the water
the
birth
water
that I
birth,
don't like.
estimating
You
the blood
can't
loss and the
assess
water birth.
the
Guys.
blood loss properly.
So I'm like, okay, let's just get you out, because it's getting a bit, it's concentrated, and I'm not liking the way this is looking. We get her out onto the bed. It looks like it's fine. I'm like, fine. I gave her the injection. The placenta came this time, delivered, lovely. Guys, as soon as that placenta came, it was like someone opened a tap. Yeah. I've never seen someone bleed the way she was bleeding. It was like someone opened a tap at full blast and she was pouring with blood. When I say I've never seen such thing, she was just pouring. It was just, and I'm here like trying to, and then I said to my pool student, go pull the emergency buzzer. So You know, with where birth center is, you got to do it outside.
Yeah.
And she's obviously shook because, like I said, it's just pouring and pouring and pouring. And also, another thing I realized, she doesn't have a cannula. We're in birth center. So I'm like, damn, I need to cannulate, but I'm trying to massage the uterus. I need another pair of hands. At this point, I don't know where the other midwife has gone. Yeah. And then there's a midwife that was in the office that my students saw. And I just heard my students saying, bleeding. Like, she literally just said, bleeding. And the other midwife managed to gather what she was saying, pulled the buzzer and came in. And even when people came, guys, can you this, that? And in my head, I'm thinking, hurry up. This woman was pouring. She lost, I think it was like 2.3 liters of blood. Some of y'all don't even drink 2 liters of water a day. Literally. So you can imagine how much that was. And that was traumatizing. We had to do bimanual compression. Bimanual compression is basically like you have to apply pressure from the inside and the outside. So I had to put basically my fist in as far as it could go, and then into her vaginal canal, and then I have to put pressure on the top. And like basically you need to try and basically get your hands to meet and you need to put pressure. And that was my first time ever having to do that. And bear in mind, there's a pool of blood, by the way. But we now need to go to delivery suite, which is downstairs. So you have to jump on the bed
with them.
And then you have people asking me, what's her history? What's her? I said,
that
if you don't shut up right now.
Oblivion when they do that. Like, someone's having, I get we need to know the history, but can we just deal with the matter at hand?
That woman was bleeding.
And maybe after we can go through what we go through.
Yeah.
I mean, things like allergies, I can understand. We need to know because obviously we're given medication. So we need to know allergies. We need to know.
There's a few things that stand out.
Yeah,
that you say. But if you need to,
what's her parity?
What's that gonna do
for us right now while we're bleeding?
What's that gonna do with this? So anyway, so I had to do that, and then when that said, so just bear in mind, guys, I've just had 2 emergencies in the space of like 2 hours. And then the other midwife that was called in, after she took the first woman to the theatre to get the placenta removed, she left. She not document, she not write nothing.
Amazing.
She left.
Amazing. Great.
So then I was just there with 2 women and 2 emergencies. And honestly, that was traumatizing. And I said, I did not realize until I saw the student's face. And when I said, as a joke, she was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's traumatizing.
You did well, though, to deal with that.
I never want to do that again. That was so... I didn't even leave work till so late that day because I just had to...
And this is just one of the tiny examples of what we actually go through as midwives.
And then you go home and...
And you just have to act like... And you have to do it again the next day.
Yeah, you have to move on with life.
Just crack on.
So guys, when your healthcare friends don't reply to your text
messages, please,
be calm.
like, can you actually be calm and actually give us
some grace. We're dealing with things.
Give us some grace because we really deal with some
traumatizing to say the least. And you just have to act like it's okay and move on because life just goes on.
It really does.
But yeah, I hope that gave you guys a little bit of an insight to
this is just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got a lot
in store,
a lot to go into.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of things coming up that we hope that you guys are going to enjoy. We're very, very excited.
Yeah. So we just hope you enjoy this. This is just a little glimpse into what the Delivery Room podcast is coming to bring to you guys.
Right.
I hope it was entertaining. I hope you have refilled your teas, your coffees, and your cocktails.
And your buzzballs. Yeah. I just hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope we, pull in all types of people.
Because we've got stories to tell.
Midwives, mothers, fathers,
sisters.
All of you guys.
People that are planning to, go through the beautiful journey of pregnancy and labour. We're here to our Shaylas.
Our Shaylas. You guys keep us going.
We're pregnant mamas. Keep you entertained, educated, and just to empower women. And like we said earlier, empower women of our kind. Especially
we
because
like
we gotta look out for our sisters,
we do.
But I think this is the start of something wonderful.
Beautiful. And we can't wait to go on this journey.
No, we can't wait.
Can't wait.
See the comments, the likes, subscriptions, all of that.
Yes.
Follow
Please
our
do
TikTok.
follow us everywhere. We are The Delivery Room on Instagram,
The Thedeliveryroom podcast on TikTok.
and The
And-
Delivery Room podcast on YouTube,
Perfect.
which is where we are now.
we will see you later.
See you on the
Bye,
next
guys.
episode.